Okay, so the topic that was given to me is on technology in remote learning environment. So we're still on the webinar and workshop on assessment of the 21st century skills curriculum for the newly hired teachers under RA 10612. So for me, as a teacher during the pandemic, it's like I am jumping. No? Kanang murag, as you look into the picture, you will see nga, pwede ka matagak, pwede po dili. Unsa kay makasave sa imuha, no, something like that. Looking at that experience, I think really the technology is really the one that saved us, no. May akong nakuan nga makaabot ta sa pikas because we cannot really continue the teaching and learning process without the technology that we are enjoying right now. So it's like Iron Man, no? Iron Man saves the day. So the technology saves the day. I think Iron Man is clothed with a lot of technology inside, no? Something like that. But it's still a question if really technology saves the day. Let's not preempt it because we have varied realities in us. No? Also, what happened now is that the learning never stops, even though there is a pandemic. No, we really tried to learn and learn, even there is a pandemic. And the home right now is the new school, but this has a lot of challenges in stored for us. No, are our homes ready for something like that? And for the education, for the Department of Education, education must really continue. No, the school heads really are given the task to implement the learning continuity plans. And the teachers are enjoying the work from home. And then there are a lot of seminars that we are into, or I mean webinars. And according to Colorado State University, the distance between learners and teacher has never been closer than it is now. Before, you cannot chat with your teacher at that nga kanang makachat with mo siya, no? But now you are really given the opportunity nga i-chat with si teacher kay wala may other nga way nga pwede nimo mabuhat. But before, it's really difficult even gani sa face-to-face sa una lisod kay mastorya nimo si teacher kung naa kay kuha kay maulaw ka. Karon, you really have to message your teachers if you have concerns, no? So it's more on murag gaka-close ka kay sa una ang close teacher katong mga favorites, but the not favorites kay murag dili kaayo siya. But now tanan gid siya makuan gid kay we need to communicate with our teachers as of the moment. According to the DICT National ICT Household Survey, if you look at Luzon, 55% make use of the internet, and then now 30%. And at that percentage, there are those unserved, underserved, and served. So there is really a problem in us in terms of the internet connectivity side, because in the whole country, the total internet use is 47%. And millions of Filipinos are still offline. No? As you look into the picture, naa siya sa kabukiran nga side, pero gakuan siya sa internet. So 53% of us offline pa. And then 52% of the public schools. And then 83% of public school students, and then 57% of households. And in the Philippines, more than 80% of the most disadvantaged students have access to the internet at school but not at home. Kana siya. Sa una mang good kay mag-eskwela gid ang mga bata kay naay time nga, naay computer time, excited kayo nga makasulod sa computer room ug maka-internet, no? For many of the most disadvantaged students, the only way to have access to computers and internet is through school. That was before, no, mga 2018 man ni siya. And then the percentage of 15-year-old learners that do not have a quiet place to study at home, we have here in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand, that's 30%. No? So also, example, upat mo kabuk magsuon, nag-online class mo tanan. Asa krapit sa kitchen ang isa sa sala, ang isa sa kwarto, mga nga na. And then the parents need different gadgets, no? Lahi-lahi. So that's one of the things that we are also into right now. And as you look at this one, let's have this reality check. Technology is only as good as its use, no? There is really wide disparities between both and within schools. The availability of digital infrastructure on schools and the learner's home, there's really disparity to that. And also making digital devices available at schools will not be useful unless these devices are adequate to the teaching and learning tasks at hand. And then another is, do teachers have the necessary technical and pedagogical skills to integrate digital devices in instruction? That's also one of the things that we're looking into, the teacher's capacity to the use of that technology. But I think with your group, there's no question, you really are technology savvy. No? And then, but I think means not to really improve the internet service and quality. Like we have the national broadband plan, we have free public and Wi-Fi, and then we have another telecommunications player, not only Globe and Smart, we also have Dito. And this is the scenario that we have as of the moment. So we have modular learning na si barangay captain, no, kay magtabang sila dito sa papanghatag sa module in some instances. And we also have online learning, and then we have the student, the parent, the teacher. I think this is a scenario that we have right now. So allow me to start the talk with this one. Now that we have already the maps for the content, we already talk about assessment. We also talk about yesterday the strategies. We are done with pedagogy. Now we go with technology, no? So we started with the content, and then I think the next part that we had the assessment and the integrative remote teaching strategies on the pedagogy side. Now let's go lower with the technology, no? So I think that's what's really encapsulated in this training. So what is remote learning? Remote learning, also often referred to as distance learning, is simply a method of learning which doesn't facilitate face-to-face contact with the teacher in a physical location. It means that children can learn away from the classroom and often employs online methods such as webinars, e-learning, live streaming, or the ability to download resources and materials. So it could be online or offline, no? Synchronous or asynchronous. Or we could have modular distance learning. That's one way that we are doing right now with the DepEd. No? Before, the role of the technology is more on, maybe it can be used to enhance the instruction or to increase efficiency in the classroom and to engage students in the content. But in the remote learning that we have right now, I think the technology really is not only looking into the into those things, but the technology is more on doing differentiated instruction and make instruction more effective. So dili lang ka to, dili na siya separated ba, kay sa una kay maggamit ko og kuan kaning mga videos kay para maligaw ang mga bata. Karon kay dili siya, need na gid siya nga gamiton gid mo siya na gid ang way. Sa una kay pwede rin mo siya i-integrate. Karon kay siya na gid ang tool, something like that. The industry 4.0 really has a great impact to the education. That's why we already have the education 4.0. And listening to the talk of the division superintendent of Malaybalay City, a lot of things are really happening in the education sector because it's really and the impact of what we have in our society right now. So we are now in the innovation-based education. So we go with innovating things, no? So there is really a need for creativity and innovation skills as of the moment. It's a new dawn. Education 4.0 is based on the primary concept of non-traditional thinking. It is an approach that combines traditional education systems with Industry 4.0. Education 4.0 resides on the combination of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, smart technology, robotics, and cyber physical systems. With Education 4.0, learning can happen anywhere, anytime, and it's more personal. And then the delivery is more flexible, and then we have peers and mentors with us. No, you can chat them, you can call them, you can even be with them, and then you can ask why, where, and not what and how. And then there are a lot of practical applications already. It's authentic learning, and then much on the modular and project based. And then the students really own the learning. No, it's student centered, and then most of the students are evaluated and not examined. So for that trend of the Education 4.0, these are the things that we have, no, a more personalized, and then I would highlight the plethora of educational tools. There are varied educational tools already present, no? And then the data is already in our fingertips, no? It's the Internet of Things. Everything that we do, we can do it in the internet, something like that. And then we can have an easy and accurate assessment using technology. So we have here some trends in technology education. We can have the artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, personalized learning, the virtual reality or the augmented reality. We can also have immersive learning, gamification, and security measure. These are some of those that concepts that we have right now. And there are a lot of apps that we can use already for our learners. There are a lot of materials already available, and there are a lot of formative assessment tools that we could have and we are using. Right in the video that we have, the parent and the learner, I think it's an elementary learner. The teacher is giving a Kahoot activity, no? Then how can it be done? It's really, I really find it in that context very, no? Because the parent right now is also learning together with the students. But I think there are two sides really of the coin, and then maybe the other side is positive, but the other side is negative, and it's a manner on how we can balance it. It's like with the online learning, are we having freedom or is it isolation? Are we isolated or are we free? Or with the remote learning, are we flexible or are we confused? Something like that. So there are really two sides, and I cannot really answer that. I can just ask, but I know you can also reflect on that. And with this things that's happening right now, learning goes personalized. No, warag nagpalit ka og Starbucks, hindi pabutangan nimo og ngalan nimo, no? So the learners are really empowered and they have a little what we call freedom, no? But as teachers, we give them learning objectives, but may differ in different learning pathways, in different method strategies and tasks, and also with varied resources and different pay. I think, no, you call it freedom because you are not bounded in the four walls of the classroom, something like that. You can do your thing on your own time as long as you can submit it on maybe the deadline. And the students really now have their learning spaces. Usually, schools have virtual learning environments. We call it VLE. Others are making use of Edmodo, Moodle. I think Books too has an e-campus, no? But I think we are not really using it that much, but it's part of our smart campus campaign, no? So now we already have virtual learning environments, and I'll share a little about what I experienced. No, I'm currently enrolled in an online koan. So this is an iPad material on the Goldsmiths University of London virtual learning environment. So we can just click there. If you want to go into the virtual learning environment, we'll just go to learn.gold, this one. No, if we want to go to the library, this one. And all of the things that I need are really in the library. No, I have access to, I think, most of the journals. Those journals that I cannot access before because there is a payment, I can access everything. No, even books So I can, if I have problem with books, I can just call the librarian, talk with the librarian, and she can maybe digitize those books that are present in the library for a week, so that I can also have a copy of those. And there are also other things that you can do, like you can have in the student union. Right now, there is a rally, or there is a rally on the school because of there is a movement uh, to cut off some employees because of the term redundancy, maybe redundancy in job. So that's why we don't have classes until December 13, because our faculty, the faculty really is part of those, because there is a faculty union, and right now they are having a rally. So there are a lot of teach outs happening. No? So there are a lot of seminars that they are giving to us, because we cannot really enter the classroom because they would really not allow to have learning activities for this time. So that's why I have a lot of time for now. And I'll show you the virtual learning environment that we have. So here, these are the courses that you are enrolled, and then you just, all the modules are there. And this is the only way also that you can have uh, your output submitted. And it is also here that we have our classes. I think this is powered by Moodle, but if we have classes, the teacher will give us Microsoft Teams na ano, and all the materials are there, and you can check your output with the Grammarly and the Turnitin, because it's present. Also, we are given Microsoft 365 soft na koan, so that we can make use of that, and a lot of things, even licenses for different apps. So they can give it to you, making use of those. And then right now, we already have OERs, no, the Open Educational Resources. So I think the information really is in the internet already. And then the future for the library, it's really on digitization, no, of the materials. So right now we can already see I'm really having the liberty now of downloading a lot of things. I was able to download a lot of books already because most of them are really digitized now. So now I think this is also the move now that we can digitize our books and materials. In the context of DepEd, you already have the DepEd Commons, right? No, so you have the open educational resources. When I was with DepEd before, I was with DepEd in 2011 to 2016, and it's the start of the LIS, but the DepEd Commons is not really present at that time. So it's good now that the DepEd Commons is already present, that there is a sharing of materials already. And even the UST really had helped a lot, no, in this time, because they have the courseware in science and mathematics. They also have storybooks and the Radyo Eskwela and the Tukla Ciencia. So those are some of the innovations with UST, and I think it's helping right now. No, a lot of things are really done by the UST to really improve the teaching of mathematics and science, even though we are facing the pandemic. And even gani na ay mga contest, no, the InnoVax, the search for the most innovative teaching and learning resources in science and mathematics. And maybe you also would like to attend the brightest star, no, in science and mathematics. And also, aside from the learning those, the learning or what and how your students learn should not be irrelevant. No, it maybe be beyond the four walls of the classroom. The world now is the students' classroom. So we can make our activities in science and mathematics that is contextualized, that they can explore the world, the nature. No? They can explore the beauty of science and mathematics in nature. So we are really encouraged as teachers to make authentic task design. So these are some of the features that we need to look into. And also the grasp model that you had, I think that's one of the elements that you have here in the in the webinar that we have, because you really are asked to make authentic performance tasks. And I would like to motivate you to make use of project-based learning for the outputs of your students. Project-based learning is a process of learning through design, development from the teacher perspective on projects to promote learning or prioritize academic content. These projects highlight the process of learning itself by offering authentic, inquiry-based activities for learners to access content, share ideas, and revisit their own learning. So mostly naa-siya ka ng inquiry nga mga kuan ay mga driving question, na ay mga presentations, na ay reflection, na ay mga 21st century skill nga inyong ginapangita no for the projects to be done. So what's the difference between a project and project-based learning? A project can be done alone, but project-based learning requires collaboration and teacher guidance. A project is about the product, but the project-based learning is about the process. The projects are teacher-directed, but project-based learning is student-directed. The project word experiences and problems. And projects occur at the real learning, but in project-based learning, real learning occurs through the project. And then, projects occur after real learning. No? In projects, all projects have the same goal, but in project-based learning, the students can make choices to determine the outcome. No, they can have their own objective. They will be the one to frame their own objective based on the main objective that the teacher has given. So in the traditional classroom, we usually have lecture, activity, quiz, lecture, activity, quiz, review, exam, and then we give a project after that. But in project-based learning, you start with an objective, no, at a project launch, an engaging and authentic task to be designed to provide the context of the learning. And you scaffold it with activities, workshop, lectures. The students can come in, no, para ma-develop ang ilang gusto sa ilang project na gusto buhatan. And then you can have a benchmark one. Like the first benchmark is you can ask them to do a research on a certain thing. O mag-research na sila. And then they reflect on that. And then another na po din yung mga scaffolding activities na needed para ma-develop further ang ilang project. Another benchmark dayon kay mag-critiquing na mo, ipapresent na nimo sila sa kuan concept. Then next dayon ipa-implement na nimo. Next na dayon ipapresent na nimo ang human nga output, something like that. And with reflection. So project-based learning really goes with processes. And then you need to provide scaffold for the learners to really materialize what they would want to have. So the teacher really need to guide. And I would like you to make use of design thinking. Maybe in the project-based learning, you can maybe start with empathizing. You ask them to look for the problems. They can interview the different clienteles, and then you ask them to frame the objective. What really is the problem based on the needs analysis that they have done? And then you can ask them to ideate, meaning you can ask them to create an idea that would really solve those problems. And maybe prototype, you try to, with that idea, you try to materialize it. You make a training design if it's a program. You make material if it's really a material that you will be doing, and then test it and implement. And then later on, you can go back. If it fails, you can go back. No, it's cyclical. You can go back with ideating again, prototype, and then testing. And then here, the learning goes social, this part. So the first that we have, it's personalized. The second is it's authentic. The third is it's social. So we have now a community of learners, and to negotiate, meaning to collaborate, to compete, and to perform peer coaching and peer evaluation, and to construct knowledge. So, but there is a need for safety, no, on the online side. How to ensure safer use of technology. That's one of the things that we need to do, maybe as teachers, and maybe we could also tap the parents and the community for that. And then I would like to highlight digital citizenship, especially on digital etiquette. No, we need to really also educate the learners on this, and also with digital integrity, especially on the credibility of their sources, no, and also with digital privacy, no? They should be particular of their privacy settings. They should know what they share and with whom, no? Think before you click, something like that. pang Miss Universe. And then there's also a need for digital literacy, no? Especially now that there are a lot of spam emails, and then maybe you will be matingala lang ka kay nahurot na imong kwarta, or nakasubscribe na ka on certain things, no? And for digital security, you need to really be secured of your passwords, something like that. So for digital citizenship, I think one that I will be sharing here is the digital footprints. So maybe everything that we do in the internet, there is really a trail, no, that can be looked into as. So be careful. So the digital footprint is the record or trail left by you on the things that you do online. So you need to have these tips, no, para dili po pangit ang atong digital footprints. We need to be kind, helpful, and understanding. We also need to use privacy settings. Use a password keeper if we could have. And then do not overshare. Kada daghan lagi ka share. Pati na ang imo ang kinabuhi nabulatlat na dito tanan, no? Everything, all the dirty linens that you have in your life, kabalo na ang tanan. No, maybe you can screen it a little, and then maybe you monitor your linking accounts. Pasin na kay mga accounts like yung Facebook usually kay nakalink sa different things. And then consider using anonymous secondary email kana siya. And I think there are a lot of things here. But one of the things that really I would like us to advocate is the social emotional learning, because there are a lot of things happening now in our mental health. No, we really need to be well right now. There should be mental wellness. So there are strategies that we need to do, like we need to self-manage, we need to be self-aware, we need to be responsible in decision making. We also need to have relationship skills and also social awareness. So with that, we need to have mindfulness. We need to clarify the thoughts that lead to our feelings. We also need to have persistence and determination, and we need to listen with empathy and empathize gratitude. We usually navigate this pandemic with failures, na mga failures, na mga frustrations, na frailty or mga weaknesses, but I think we really need to go beyond it. No, we need to transgress or transcend with that for us to be successful. We need to fight, no? Rag-ad siya. But there are also things that we need to look into, like others are just sleeping, our students are just sleeping in our online classes, no? Kay boring daw, so saan na to? Saan na to siya, no? And then there's also academic burnout yung from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. online class, something like that. So maybe you can look into that. And also there are some tips here. Maybe you can give them time to do exercise. Maybe you just have to schedule, no? You need to have a good sleep, you eat well, something like that. But here are some concerns on the social media. Is social media causing anxiety and depression? That's also one, because maybe naaykoan ka na bullying, cyberbullying, and a lot of things. Because there are a lot of alterations in the way we communicate now, no? Sa una kay mag-istorya mo karon kay chat na lang, no? Then lahi pagid ang meaning kay pag nakakapslak tanan kay murag lain na ang pasabot, something like that ba, lahi pud ang pag-receive o pagkuan. So naay mga miscommunication and a lot of things. As teachers, we really need to motivate our learners to learn from home, and they also should have it on themselves, no? I think this is one of the areas that we need to look into if we will do a research. You look into the motivation of learners from home. And then also the cheating. I know DepEd is really vocal on this, that they're really cheating is really happening in the group chats of the learners. And maybe we could advocate on technological innovations. Maybe because we are into science and mathematics, we can innovate. According to Goel, a successful post-pandemic school or university will be the one that sees this moment for what it is, as a time to seize technological advances, to build on centuries of expertise, to use these technologies as a tool to break down barriers to access and to understand how these challenges are connected. No? maybe we can go deeper, because education 4.0 is more on innovation. That's why in the manner we teach our students, we are into design thinking, we are into project-based learning, for them to have a little on the development of the innovation skills. Right now, also, I think DepEd and state universities, or even private universities, are going into a smart campus where all the technologies are present, no? Nanay mga CCTV, mga mobile, mga touchboards, and all. But one of the things I'm looking now is the technological leadership. How are our leaders right now in driving technology in our classrooms or in our schools? So I think our leaders really need to have technological leadership so that they could influence the teachers also to have technological leadership, and for teachers to have teaching effectiveness as you look into the model. No? And we have here the leadership must drive into innovation. So that's also one of the things that I'm looking into as an implication of this. And also, as teachers, there's a need for virtual classroom management. How will you manage your classroom? What practices are you using or strategies to fully actualize the virtual classroom, teaching and learning processes? So how would you manage that? And then maybe the different things that we would like to do, we can put it in a matrix so that everything that we want to achieve really is in order and aligned. But this is the challenge that I'm posing right now, our technological, pedagogical content knowledge as teachers. So you know already that we have content knowledge. It's what we know, the theories and concepts and facts on our discipline. And we also have pedagogy, the teaching methods and the assessment. And now there is a technology, how it is used, the tools that we are using. But in the middle of all of that, we have the technological, pedagogical content knowledge. But we also need to look into the in-betweens, like the in-between of content and technology. So there is a need really that the technology that we are using must be appropriate to the content, no? And also we have the technology and pedagogy. So I think the technology that we will be using must be also appropriate to the pedagogy that we wanted, something like that. And even in the content, it should be kind of verified by the teachers that those content really are accurate and not fake news. And also for the students to be safe, we need to secure everything that is given to the students, because maybe there are malicious data that will be sent or something like that. And this is the last that I have here. I would like to ask what does your TPACK look like? Your technological, pedagogical content knowledge as science and mathematics teachers. So maybe you can reflect on that. And I think that's all for my talk.